This is your 420 Radio News for Friday, November 8, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. New Massachusetts ballot committee here to legalize from masslive.com. Having won decriminalization and the legalization of marijuana for medical use through the use of the ballot, activists are now planning to put a full legalization referendum before Massachusetts voters during the next presidential election in 2016. William Downing, who has been involved with marijuana activism since 1989, is the treasurer of a newly registered ballot committee called State Repeal. Last November, as Massachusetts approved medical marijuana, voters in Washington and Colorado fully legalized and regulated the drug. Both opponents and proponents said they will be watching how the new policy fares in those states to make their case to voters in 2016. Bay State Repeal plans to put a non-binding public policy question about whether to legalize marijuana before voters in 2014, before making a push for binding language, which would be reviewed by the legislature first on the 2016 ballot as an initiative petition. New poll, majority of Marylanders favor legalization of marijuana and consequences other than jail. From the Washington Post. A narrow majority of Marylanders support legalizing marijuana, and more than 8 in 10 say the consequences for possessing small amounts of the drug should be fines or rehabilitation rather than jail time, according to a new poll. The Goucher poll found that 51% of Marylanders supported making marijuana use legal in the state, while 40% opposed legalization. When presented with a list of consequences for possessing small amounts of marijuana, 49% of residents supported policies that focus on fines, while 34% said they favor rehabilitation. 6% said they prefer measures that focus on jail time. Meanwhile, 90% support the use of marijuana for medical purposes, according to the poll. Judge sentences medical marijuana dispensary owner, says law is, quote, one of the worst, end quote. From Michigan Live. Even as he sentenced a Grand Rapids medical marijuana dispensary owner to probation, a Kent County judge called the state's medical marijuana law, quote, one of the worst statutes that was ever written and put into place, end quote. David Overholt earlier pleaded no contest to delivery or manufacture of marijuana, and on Thursday, November 7th, he was sentenced to 2 years of probation, a $1,000 fine, and 150 hours of community service. Circuit Court Judge Mark Trusock used the sentencing as an opportunity to offer his own opinion about the state's medical marijuana law passed by voters in 2008. Quote, I think the medical marijuana statute has become a nightmare for some good, honest people, he said. There are courts all over that don't know how to handle it because it was such a poorly written law, end quote. How Lady Gaga kicked her 15 joints a day marijuana habit, from celebbuzz.com. We knew about Lady Gaga and her love of weed, but we didn't know she was getting high every day to cope with the pain from hip surgery. She said in a new interview with Attitude, quote, I was smoking 15 joints a day, no tobacco, a day. It was a habit that eventually occurred when the pain got so bad with the hip, end quote. So, how did the just yet? The singer added that she still indulges in her herb every once in a while. Quote, now I smoke with a little bit at night, just for fun, you know, but not to cope. It's the difference, end quote. Durbin and Kirk differ about marijuana, from the Chicago Tribune. Senators Dick Durbin and Mark Kirk staked out opposing positions on marijuana yesterday during a coffee with constituents on Capitol Hill. Durbin, a Democrat, said he supported the use of medical marijuana for could not support decriminalization of marijuana because he worried about it being a gateway drug. He said several friends had children who had become addicted to serious drugs. Senator Kirk said he took restrictions on marijuana. He did not comment directly on medical marijuana or Illinois' new law, which takes effect next year. He said he was worried about young people's academic achievements. This has been your 420 Radio News for Friday, November 8, 2013. I'm Russ Belville. When we come back, we go behind the headlines for the third day in a row and the third story of New Mexico police subjecting someone to bodily cavity searches. You're listening to the Les Belvos Show on 420radio.org. We'll be right back.